friends, ERIKATESLA here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back, and if you're new, thank you so much for deciding to click on this video. Today I just wanted to have a quick chat with you guys about a very fun walk down memory lane. Urban Decay has recently re-released the OG Naked palette, and I remember when this palette came out, I want to say like 10 years ago now. I don't know the actual release date, but it really set the makeup world on a whole new tangent, like in a whole new direction. And I remember when this palette launched that this was really the start of bigger makeup brands delving into the world of eyeshadow palettes. And so I have this look that I did today, and I'm going to actually scoot my camera over to, I think, this side here. And I'm going to throw up the tutorial that I did because I have discovered that doing like a whole separate tutorial kind of just doesn't really draw the audience that I would like it to. But more importantly, it'll just give you guys an idea of how the palette performed for me to create this look, which wasn't that hard to do. I was just kind of like dabbling around with all of the shades because the main idea behind this palette for me was to see, like, do I feel like this formula, I'll put it over here, do I feel like this formula is any different than the OG palette, which I had for a long time. I had the palette for many years and I decluttered it maybe like 2 years ago now, so I haven't had the old original palette in my possession for a while now. But Urban Decay surprised me because they sent me an email asking if I wanted to receive some PR, and I didn't know that this was coming out. So when I received this in the mail, guys, I was so surprised, pleasantly surprised, that I received this from Urban Decay. And in addition to the palette, I did also receive their foundation. So they sent 2 boxes. They sent the new foundation, and I used one of them for this look. I got another box here showing you guys this box, this PR box that the palette itself came in, and the limited edition box here. So the original palette came in a box something like this, but it didn't obviously have like the little ribbon on here that said limited edition on it. I did do some swatches for you guys so you could see how the palette looks, how the shades look. And you guys have to understand, you're looking at these shades, and if you're younger and you're watching this video and you're thinking like, what's the big deal? Like, at the time that this palette came out, like having shades like this in a curated collection in a palette was like a huge deal. And it was really billed as like this kind of one of a kind, like, you know, everyday, any occasion type of palette. Like, it just really wasn't easy to find anything quite like this, unless of course you were talking about maybe like I think MAC would probably be the main contender for these kinds of shades. And a lot of times I remember I would buy MACs in singles. I didn't really buy palettes before this palette came out, and so this just really changed the makeup world. So as far as my thoughts on this palette, guys, I do think it performs beautifully. It certainly swatched beautifully. Like the shadows are really lovely, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know that I recall if there was like a major difference in terms of formulation. Maybe these are like slightly smoother, but I think I couldn't really be honest with you in terms of like, could I compare, because I haven't had the original palette in a while. But I will say that this new palette does perform really nicely. I'm pretty happy with how easy it was to achieve this look. I think the formulation is really good. I think in general Urban Decay does really do some nice shadows, and they do wearable shadows really well. They kind of moved away from their like kind of edgier themes with the introduction of this palette, because they did do palettes before, but they would do like larger format palettes with like a lot of colors. I'm thinking more like the Vice palettes, that kind of thing. And I'm trying to remember, I might be mixing up the timelines of like which came first, but like the Vice palettes were like super duper colorful, and then there was a time when they would do other palettes that had kind of like these edgy names to them, and they had very unconventional colors and grungier colors. And then I feel like the Naked palette was kind of like their transition into more of like the mid-tier makeup world with like the MACs and Anastasia Beverly Hills and whatnot. So I love the nostalgia factor of this palette. Now I will say, if you have shades like this, you don't need to purchase this, guys. Like, it's already like these colors like came out like a million times over since then, and we've all seen that this really was a trend-setting palette that set off like an entire generation of brands recreating or making their own spin on this kind of color story. So you probably have these shades, but if you're feeling nostalgic and you're just feeling like you want to have this, and it's still the velvet packaging, I'm actually really happy that they didn't change that. I know like a lot of people wish that it was like a different material, but I'm glad that they went back to the OG format. Now I think the brush was different. This does come with a double-ended brush, but yeah, I think it's just like a fun palette. If you're looking for a really nice like everyday palette, it has some really classic colors in here that you will not find necessarily, because I used to love the Naked Basics 1 palette, which has been discontinued. There's Naked Basics 2 is still out. I would love for them to bring back Naked Basics 1, because that was one of my favorite formats of like just like a neutral all matte palette. And so some of these shades are in here, and that makes me really happy to have them back in my collection, because I went through Naked Basics 1 maybe like 3 times. I loved that palette. It was really sad when they discontinued it. So it's really nice to have these colors back. But that being said, you probably already have these shades. Mario has come out with his palette, and I do have that palette somewhere, guys. Like, I've been doing a lot of traveling and whatnot, but I thought I would share with you a couple of other palettes that are in the same vein that you might actually already have, or if you don't, like, they might be at a more reasonable price point for you, because this palette, when it debuted, it was $44 and now it's $59. So that's quite a jump, and we all know how inflation has affected the cost of just everything in life. But yeah, that's a pretty big leap, because I remember it debuted at $44. At one point the price went up to $54, then the palette was discontinued, and now it has come back at $59. So if you're looking for something similar, I would humbly suggest these palettes for you. So I have the Petit Four Praline palette, which I have talked about a lot. Now this is just a quad, but I'm obsessed with this formula. I love it so much. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you guys just like a quick comparison, and this is a quick video, guys, so if you want specific swatches of anything, let me know. But as you can see, the Praline Épicé palette has some shades in here that you definitely could pull out, like very similar looks. This is definitely like a nude neutral color story, and I love this one. It's really travel friendly, and this one full retail price is about $25, but Viseart is having sales directly on their website like all the time. They're also available, I believe, on Camera Ready Cosmetics, which has sales all the time. So for $25 for 4 really beautiful shades that you can also find at a discount, I think that this is a really nice option to consider. Another palette that I thought kind of reminded me of this one, or elements of it, we have the Sigma Cool Neutrals palette. Now obviously there are some shades in here that are not a one-to-one match. Like, I'm not by any means saying that this is a dupe, and actually I'm gonna move my camera back over. The Sigma Cool Neutrals palette, okay, and this one, Sigma Cool Neutrals, I want to say, how much is this one? Well, this one's like a little less. This one, so we have Urban Decay $59. Cool Neutrals full price is $52. However, there are about a bajillion influencer codes. I also have a code with Sigma Erika if you choose to use it, or if you have another content creator that you would like to support. consider purchasing this at a discount. And Sigma is always having sales as well. I'm sure during the holidays, there will probably be some promotions and things like that. But this is a beautiful palette as well. And I feel like Sigma's formulation continues to improve as well. And you know, you kind of have some other like different shades in here that are very visually interesting, but as you can see, like there's very similar vibes here. The other one that I would suggest for you guys is the Stone Cold Fox palette from ColourPop. So as you can see, a lot of similarities here as well, like and you have a matte black shade in here, and these palettes retail for $35, so you're paying about $1 a shade. Not to mention the fact, again, ColourPop is constantly having sales, so you can probably get a similar look with this palette, and you just have like a little bit more variety than you do with the Urban Decay. Not to deter anybody from picking this up, but again, in the spirit of sharing some other options with you, I think that this would be a really great choice to consider. And then next up we have Bare Necessities. Now Bare Necessities leans a little bit warmer, a little bit rosier. Actually, I would say this one is very close to the one of the more recent Natasha Denona palettes, but you can still see you have those like gold shades that are in here and the browns, and again we have another matte black shade, and this shade Baubles kind of reminds me a little bit of like I'm sorry, Revel reminds me a little bit of Hustle and some of the other like brown shimmers in here. So not the closest, but if you are looking for a close-ish vibe and you're looking for something like a little bit more, I would say romantic, rosier, another good option. And then another one that I want to show you guys from ColourPop is you have the Precious Metals palette. So excuse me, please bear with me while I'm pulling these palettes out, guys, because I have a whole pile over here. But we have Precious Metals, and I'm going to try to maneuver. Thank you for your patience. But if you were looking for something along the same vein, and this they don't have, like, I guess Let's Do It is another kind of like black matte. I'm looking at it, it looks more like a charcoaly color up close in person, but I really like this one. You do have some really beautiful shimmers in here. You have like silvers, you have like bronzes. It's giving Olympics, and I'm totally here for that. It's a really beautiful palette. This does have a couple of glitters in here, which I don't necessarily dig into personally, but I would say given the sheer quantity of shades in this palette and the fact that you can usually find these on sale, this is a really reasonably priced alternative to the Urban Decay option. Last but not least, my friends, I'm going to show you an option that is coming out August 8th. I'm filming this, I think, a day or two before the launch of this palette. So I don't know if Alter Ego planned this or not. They are very well known for doing dupe color stories of other brands, but they put me on their PR list earlier this year, and I've been very pleasantly surprised by the products that I've tried from them. So this palette, this is called, let's see, she's called Daylight. So this is the Daylight palette, and this retails for $22. So literally less than half of what the Urban Decay option is going to cost you. Now I haven't tried this one out, so I don't want to say either way, oh, this is a better formulation or anything like that. I would just say, going off of past experience working with their shadows, they generally have a very nice formula for the price point. If you're looking for a similar, not exactly the same color story, but a similar color story, this is an option to consider. And I think, again, just such a beautiful price point. And this is going to be so pretty going into the fall and winter months. But, you know, guys, I will just say, I was really happy to see this palette, so much so that I actually did end up purchasing this before I knew Urban Decay was going to send it to me. So I am going to do a little giveaway in the comments, and the way that I'm going to do this giveaway, guys, I am going to do a Google form that you can fill out to enter the giveaway for a Urban Decay Naked OG palette of your own. So I'm going to do a Google form, and the reason behind that is that unfortunately there's a lot of scammers out there. So, and then I also don't want my comments flooded with spam, which tends to be an issue. Is like, if you say you're doing a giveaway. I've had some, you know, bot accounts, and I've had like people just like writing crazy hashtags. I don't know what they are doing, but anyway, I just want to minimize the complications for you and for me, and for this to be just like a fun way to say thank you guys for supporting my channel. So if you're interested in if you're interested in winning this giveaway, definitely consider entering. I don't keep your information. I will not be putting you on like any kind of mailing list or anything like that. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you, but I might just ask you for like your email or something like that, so I can reach out to you directly and let you know if you have won. And I will do my best to announce the winner as soon as possible. If I don't hear from a winner, usually like I give like about like 2 days or so, a day or two, to like figure out like if the person receives an email before moving on to a new winner. But yeah, anyway, I hope that you guys will consider entering the giveaway. Let me know what you think about this release. Are you excited about this? Do you have your original one? Like I said, I let mine go a while ago. It was kind of crusted and dusted and not in the best condition, but I'm really excited to have this again. And I want to say thank you to Urban Decay Cosmetics for sending this my way along with their face products. I'm really excited because I'm going to tell you, this face bond, I think I need to do like a foundation roundup video, because this has been one of my favorite foundations of 2024. It works well for me, but I have really enjoyed this one. They also sent me the shade 22. This is the shade 18 neutral, and then I have the shade 22. I haven't tried that yet, so maybe if I get a little bit more tan, that might be a really good match for me. But this has been like an incredible match. And then they also sent their eyeshadow primer, which, guys, by the way, I was looking at it and I just managed to not put it on my lids, but I will say it's a testament to how well the shadows perform in this palette. And then I also got the all-nighter setting spray, which is like a Urban Decay OG classic. So I love that they released this. I think this would be like a really fun gift for someone who wants something simple and just, you know, a makeup lover, or even someone who's a beginner in makeup, which was, I think, the idea behind the OG palette. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I would love to hear from you and hear what you think. If you haven't already, please like this video. It really helps me out. And if you would, please consider subscribing to my channel. It'd be so awesome to have you join my little corner of the internet where we chat about makeup and beauty and all of that fun stuff. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out. I so appreciate you. I hope your day is going well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.